listening to Range Minded from Independence Indoor Shooting. Before we get started, make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Range Minded Podcast. That's where you'll get photos, posts, and extras to go along with each episode. This is episode 125 with special guest Cody Coleman. You may remember him from an earlier episode as a gunsmith here at Independence, but now he's decided to start his own business, which is called Red Right Hand, where he does some amazing stippling and gunsmithing work, and he's got a lot of great ideas in store. So we talk about the benefits of starting your own firearms business, as well as the hoops he's had to jump through so far. This episode may be a little shorter than most, you might notice, but it's just as enjoyable, and also please note there's an extra curse word in there or two as well, so please be advised of that. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoy episode 125 of Range Minded, the Cody Coleman interview, round 2. Hello and welcome to Range Minded from Independence Indoor Shooting. My name is Mark Long. We got a full house today because not only am I joined by Steve Zimmerman.
I am here in the flesh.
In person, on which is amazing and great to see, but we also have
Nick Hoffer here again.
Hanging out with us, and our dear friend as well.
Yeah, Cody Coleman's here.
Yeah.
Well, a dear friend, that's kind of an extent, but...
Oh, come on.
Hey,
I'm glad to see you, Steve.
He's done a lot of work for
been a
me,
while.
so...
We actually do like Cody quite a bit.
We like everybody here, so...
Well, almost everybody.
Yeah, Nick's a dear friend.
Steve doesn't like me.
It's because he's got a better beard than I do.
Steve doesn't like anybody. That's his secret. But yeah, we're joined with Cody Coleman today. We're going to talk about what you've been up to, man. Because you're you have a great undertaking that you've been working on and dealing with and hassling with.
Yeah. Starting a business, finally.
Yeah, you're starting your own business. So I thought it'd be a really cool episode to figure out, what it takes to start. Because you're not only starting your own business, you're starting your own FFL, ATF regulated, full on gunsmithing business, right?
Yes, correct.
So it was totally easy, and it's all up and running right now.
Oh yeah, it's super easy. And it hasn't taken forever.
Guns are just... They're so easy to move around.
So easy to get involved, and you can buy this stuff at a library.
The government just basically gave you the permission.
It's so easy to start. No, it's absolutely longer than I expected.
You're making it sound way harder than it really is.
It is harder than you think, unfortunately. But yeah, it's been interesting to say the least, because I've worked for a lot of companies.
Right.
So, do you think it's more difficult because you're starting it from home?
Yes,
because 100%. I have the same experience, so we'll have to compare how difficult.
Well, you started with a brick and mortar type.
Yeah, so I'm in a commercial area. I started in my garage like you, but I didn't have those fancy regulations and permits. So
I wanted to do it from home, keep overhead low.
Right.
And ATF allows you to do that in Idaho, which is awesome, because when I lived in Arizona, you couldn't do that anymore. They put a kibosh on it because cartels and all that fun stuff. So they didn't want too many gun shops right on the border out of people's houses and all that stuff.
Weird.
So when I moved up here and I found out you could have them here, I was like, sweet, one day I'm totally going to have the home FFL and work from my home and, do my thing. And it's awesome that they let you do it. But when you have a city, and thank God I don't have an HOA, but
the city gets a little concerned.
So when you're like, I want to start my home business, so I just should do they call it HOR, which is a home occupation registration or something like that. It's a $90 fee for most businesses. That's all you need.
Quotation in most.
So you go to most. So quick background, because I don't know exactly what you're doing. So what exactly are you starting from your home?
Oh, I'm going to be an 07 manufacturer at home that also does gunsmithing.
Okay.
So for those who don't understand what an 07 is, so it's a federal firearms license, and the 07 is the designation. There's a lot of different kinds of FFLs you can get, but 07 is specifically for manufacturing.
Yes, but it also covers almost everything below it besides curio and relic. So it's like the pyramid top of getting that, because you could do everything with an 07 except for...
So are you focused on manufacturing, or are you going to do gun store sales from home?
No, I'm not open to the public.
Okay.
So you can send me your gun from the internet, mail it to my house kind of thing. I'll work on it, mail it back to you. That's the gunsmithing services where I modify your Glocks or something like that. I will allow some people here locally, to come to my home and drop off their guns, because, I like...
Be careful when you say that around Steve.
Well, I have to buy one here to take it to him.
I was like, he'll be showing up at your house every time he's in town.
Yeah, probably will.
And
He's more than welcome.
his dogs like me. It's okay.
It's a nice house.
Yeah.
Actually, I've never been to his house, and he never told me his address. He said he'd give it to me later, and just keeps forgetting.
Oh,
it.
he is
You
smart.
never wanted to come
He
over.
is smart.
What's the name of the business anyway? We didn't even
My
start with-
business is Red Right Hand. So it's an LLC.
Where'd you come up with that?
Well, so this is where that kind of came from when I was coming up with names. I was watching a lot of Peaky Blinders.
There you go.
The opening theme song is Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, which is a good song based on a cool poem from World War I. And the Red Right Hand's been like all over the place. It's very Irish. I'm Irish, so screw it, I'll roll with it.
Yeah, why
What's a
not?
good name?
No cultural appropriation there.
It doesn't matter. You are Irish.
I am Irish.
You're not
Yeah.
pretending to be Irish.
Yeah, it works. So, but it also sounded. I liked it. I just liked the name. A lot of people that I talked to also enjoyed the name. And we're in a red state, and I do everything by hand. So
It all fits together
it
pretty
all
well.
kinda fits together.
Yeah.
So.
But you're
Yeah.
left-handed.
No,
I'm just.
No, he's not.
So is that live now? Have you already started?
Yeah, I got Instagram and Facebook and all that. I'm working on a website currently.
So on Instagram, you're Red Right Hand?
Yeah, Red Right Hand Idaho. You'll be able to find me on
All right.
there.
Nice, man.
It is a cool logo.
Yeah, which I paid a guy to do because I'm not computerly savvy. So
Well, and that's the thing is you're starting like the business from scratch.
it's absolute scratch. So
Like-
it's not like buy. You can go buy another business, but I wasn't gonna do that.
yeah.
It's not as fun.
Yeah, if anybody's looking to buy a business, hit me up directly.
What made you want to start your own just from scratch anyway?
Well, I got a lot of skills, and I just kind of wanted to profit more from my skill set. 100% keep what I make, kind of thing. And
Yeah, that
also
makes sense.
owning it gives you total control of it, which also gives you the total. That's the word, liability of everything, which is fun. But
And as we talked about before we came on the air, it also makes you liable for the taxes.
yes, taxation theft.
But there's always write-offs.
Yeah, there's always write-offs, which
Which
gonna
is
be
just
lot of
really
write-offs.
a laundering gimmick from the tax commission. But still,
Yeah.
You got that to look forward to. So, so what was like the first step you took? Like walk us through a little bit of the process and all, like, cause obviously there's a lot of red tape that goes along with this. And we talked about a month ago when you
Yeah.
were kind of just starting and it was like, oh, you'll be done in a month and everything will be groovy. But that's not the case. Like you're still working on getting the final kind of stuff figured out, right?
Yeah, so basically back, I think it was February, I filed and I got my LLC. So
Okay.
that's really easy. And it doesn't cost much either. You go on to your state and you put in your name. I actually spent more time thinking about what I was going to name it than it took to actually file for an LLC. So
Yeah.
filed for an LLC in February. March, I had cost layout of my shop that I'm gonna build my garage and all that stuff. I got, it's $150 for an 07 FFL. It's another $500 a year for an SOT, which
What you doing
if you have
over
an
there?
07, better have an SOT. 'Cause
Right.
Why not? And I figured, maybe a couple $100 in city permits, but not a whole lot. So started with that, but then, COVID-19 hit. So yay, that got delayed till June.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So I filed for everything in June. And when I went to go put it in, I was hoping it would just be the home occupation registration. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they were like, wait, you're going to do what now?
You forgot that you were in the second most highly regulated industry.
Oh yeah, that too. Basically, I was like, oh wait, what do you mean I can't just start a business in my house? And they're like, oh yeah, no, you got to get a permit for that. I was like, oh okay, well what kind of permit? And they're like, oh, a conditional use permit.
Yeah.
Now, is that specifically for firearms?
No, that's specifically for when you run. It's a certain level of business out of your house. Basically, they got like two levels of business. Like if you're like a housewife and you sell your beaded necklaces or something like that, maybe
Right.
sure you only need an HOR. But if you're going to run like a business that's going to have federally regulated stuff and all that other stuff like that, they're like, yeah, you need to have a conditional use permit.
It also has something to do with traffic and shipping and people showing up
I gotcha.
in the neighborhoods.
Yeah. So that, since considering that's what they want to do. So they basically were like, yeah, you can do that. I was like, oh, great. All right. So what do I need to do that? They're like, oh, you need to fill out these forms and talk to this lady. So I did. And they're like, all right, cool. We'll get back to you in 6 weeks. I was like, oh, wow, that's fast. Really? This isn't just like a, sign off, pay your thing? No, it's not.
Well, at least you're used to it with dealing with the ATF.
ATF was actually the fastest part of this whole process.
Really?
I'm not lying.
Well, our field office here in Boise,
Actually, mine went to Spokane.
Oh, they go to, really?
Yeah, so you mail everything to Portland,
Right.
And then they send it to
That's
a
like the
regional,
regional office.
Yeah, and I got like the senior lady at ATF, and
The older lady. Yeah.
and she.
I can't remember her name. She was actually really
Crystal
cool.
Sherman. She was really nice.
She's really cool, but I would not want to make her mad.
Oh yeah, she was funny because she's a bureaucrat and she admits it. She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just a bureaucrat." So I mean,
self-aware.
Yeah, she's very self-aware of her position. And it's so funny is because they also, at the ATF, don't want to give you an absolute direct answer because then they're responsible for direct answer. So it's just kind of like, well, you could do that, or you could do this, or whatever. Go ahead, just do something like that. It's okay. That's really not specific. And they're like, yeah, no, I can't. I'm not going to be specific with you. Like you're just like, I just need to know if I write this word down or this word down.
It's whatever you want to do.
It's up to you. And you're like,
oh my God.
It's up to you, but we will be the judge after the fact.
Exactly. It was so funny. She's like, yeah, good luck. I didn't have to have they didn't come to my house to inspect anything. They didn't have to do that with COVID. They just they ran my background and did my interview on the phone. And she was really funny. So she's like, oh yeah, you're good to go, and follow the rules. Keep your books looking good. If we ever show up to do an audit and something doesn't happen right, then you're in trouble. So have a good day. I was like, oh, cool, thank you.
Thanks for the warning.
Thanks for the warning. They're
Now, did it help? Did it help that you have been a gunsmith in the past, traditionally?
Yeah.
You were able to kind of navigate those waters a little bit easier?
Yeah, dealing with the ATF is dealing with the ATF. Once you've done it a little bit, you start to get an idea. But it changes quite a bit. Since last time I really looked at any of the regulations, they have updated a bunch of stuff for gunsmiths on a bunch of white letters, which is hilarious because it's actually not law, it's just suggestion law, but it's also forcibly threat. Don't do this. But realistically, there's no rule on it. But
we will enforce what we say.
We will enforce it, Kind of like the bump stock ban, which is totally BS because you didn't go through Congress. Doesn't count.
It's not a real law.
Yeah, but...
It's an accessory.
Yeah, they have a lot of new guidelines, though, for gunsmithing, and especially when it comes to finishing guns for people or building, even just assembling an entire gun for somebody, consider it constitutes manufacturing now.
Yeah, I wondered when that was going to change.
So if I brought you an AR, a complete AR, but in parts, and I said, hey, can you build this for me? That would be manufacturing?
Technically, yes. So you have to be an 07 because it's called fit and finish, final fit and finish assembly.
So then are you responsible for the excise tax for that?
I gotta look into it because I know there's certain. I think they want you to be registered as a manufacturer for that. As far as the excise tax goes, I know there's a certain type when you make a receiver compared to a full rifle. I'm not sure yet. To be honest with you, I'm still
I know
reading.
I know as individuals we're responsible for excise tax, but most people skip that step, not being aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just boring. So let's tell us where we've got through all this legal setup. Permitting stuff, but what is it that you're primarily going to do in gunsmithing?
Oh, well, for gunsmithing, I want to work on Glocks. Yeah, fun stuff, right?
It's a good thing Mark bought a Glock.
Yeah,
you know that right now.
Yeah, we're gonna pimp it out.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah.
I've always liked modifying those. There's a lot of the market is very saturated with people working on Glocks. I know this, but at the same time,
but Glock clones are going crazy right now. So
everybody's making something new. They're making Gucci everything. So it's there's plenty of market share, even though it's a pretty overcrowded market.
If you find your niche kind of thing, you can specialize in something. And
well, it's just like a Jeep, right? There's not only one dude working on Jeeps.
Yeah, there's millions
or trucks
of people.
for even you can expand that out to just trucks. There's not one guy customizing trucks or.
Mark's obviously not a Jeep guy.
Or Honda Civics.
No, not much of a Jeep guy.
He's not a Jeep guy.
A Jeep guy.
No, that's okay. I like your Jeep. Your
Jeep.
Grand Cherokee.
No, it's a Cherokee.
Oh, it's a regular Cherokee.
It's a regular Cherokee.
It's not that.
He's not a Jeep guy.
It's not that grand.
I'd say it's pretty grand.
We don't modify Grand Cherokees.
No, you just don't.
Maybe you do. I don't know. I'm not a Jeep guy.
No.
There's two kinds of people in this world: Jeep guys and non-Jeep guys. Because and you're gonna kind of do everything from the internals to
internals.
manufacturing parts maybe, and obviously you're big on stippling too, right?
Yeah, I got two styles of stippling I like to do. Keep it simple, but I can turn it around really fast.
Yeah,
and I got a great Cerakoter down the road that does my Cerakoting because I'm not plumbing all that stuff in, and then have the EPA or something knocking on my door. I don't want to have to do all that stuff. So I got really good connections in Napa to get little things done that I need to get done.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff I want to do too is R&D. Like I have so many things I've wanted to like bring from just in my head to a computer, get it all catted out, and then get it machined. I got a 3D printer now, so I'm actually like able to like test those parts.
Oh, you should have talked to me 2 hours ago. I just sold a CNC mill.
Yeah, how big?
Full-size Fadal VMC 40.
It was a big mill.
The city won't let me plumb that into my house. they were already on top of that one.
Let me tell you what I told the guy who bought it. If you don't tell them, they don't know.
Yeah, right.
Phase converters.
Yeah, phase converter. That'd be fun. But no, I got a machine shop that I'm gonna be working with too down there. So
Well, I've got an idea for a Glock fit.
yeah, I already got
I need
muzzle
to
brake
talk to you about-
designs that I'm working on getting produced.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, you can do a lot of the design work on the computer, really. It's just getting it in your hand is...
Yeah,
Finding machine shops to run that. If you can do the CAD work, then finding somebody to make those parts. That's why I sold the machine.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason for me to be milling the parts when I have such access to other machine shops.
yeah.
if
Like
I
at
can
that
design
point
it,
too,
so.
you know, to have a machine, your machine should always be running because it's not making money when it sits idle. So
Steve,
like,
when's the last time my machine started? Never.
That's kind of a personal question.
I've had 3 of those in that shop, and I've never machined a part.
I remember when you got them in
Ever.
there, and you were like, "I got these things," and they're
Got them super cheap, a great deal. I was there for that.
Even
Yeah,
Mark remembers.
I remember that. I don't know if I'm ever going to use them, but I got them.
But let me tell you, I sold them for more than double what I paid.
Not bad.
Yeah.
ROI, baby.
Yeah.
There you go. So are you
That's
doing
business
are you
right
thinking
there.
about doing anything with like rifles, long guns, that kind of stuff too, or mainly just kind of Glocks?
Well, again, it goes back to my R&D stuff. I have an operating system I'm working on. I'm not going to talk about it over LiveWire yet, but
Right.
It's really cool. So you know, there's ideas like that I want to.
Is it Android or iOS?
No, like how you operate your gases in a gun, but
Oh, in the gun.
Oh.
in the gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't the tech podcast.
No.
that I do.
No, it's down the hall.
That's down the hall.
Shoot.
So let's talk about some of the cool stuff. You know, we talked about legalese, like Nick said, but talk about some of the cool stuff you can do with an FFL or with an SOT.
Well,
You know,
pretty
that
much,
the average Joe maybe can't do.
yeah. Well, when you have an 07 SOT, it's your golden ticket to do a lot of fun stuff. Also, your direct go to jail card. You know,
If you're not
mess it up.
careful.
Yeah, but as
They're
an
not
07
they're
SOT,
not specific on what will send you to jail.
yeah.
Just you might be careful.
Yeah,
Just be careful.
you just a little bit extra scrutiny, you know, in a really scrutinized business.
Make sure you keep that paperwork handy.
Yeah, in a fireproof safe, you know, things like that. And don't let anybody walk away with them, you know, like it's, you know.
Make them bolted to the floor.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as a SOT, you're allowed to work with all NFA items, so you can make machine guns, suppressors, short-barreled rifles, you know, all the fun stuff.
You can manufacture
You
your
can
own.
manufacture them from scratch, or you convert stuff as well. And you know, as an 07 SOT, you can get what's called a law letter, and you can get machine guns
fun
for
toys.
police departments.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you can buy a brand new machine gun from somewhere else. So, but it allows you to do a lot of stuff in that field, so it's quite cool.
It's kind of like what it used to be before all the.
Yeah,
Regulation.
basically, it's
Before
like
all the
living in
regulation,
1933.
33.
Yeah, but with government.
So why aren't there
scrutiny.
more gangsters with SOTs? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, right.
Well, because you heard all of the hoops he jumped through to get that.
yeah.
That's
So,
exciting, though.
It's fun because it opens up all the worlds of possibilities. So like you have an idea, like I'm constantly coming with ideas, and you're like, oh, damn, that would be regulated if I didn't have this license. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
I got that license now, so I can do it.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's your golden ticket to make your, you know, what's in your head come
Yeah.
to reality and come to fruition and actually
Yeah.
test it out. So,
Which is fun.
yeah, man, that's got to be a lot of fun. So because it's coming out of your house, did you have to like talk to your neighbors or anything like that? Or
Well, 2 of my neighbors are cops from
That helps.
Boise, so that was awesome. That was no problem there. The rest of my neighborhood either doesn't speak English or are renters. So the renters don't care, and the individuals that don't speak English also don't care. They got Trump flags on their houses. So like,
Really?
no one cared.
Well, they can't read English, so they
It's a
don't.
misconception, Steve, that they're
Yeah.
not Trump supporters, just so you know.
That's good.
Misconception.
Misconception?
Misconception.
I'm in the dark.
it is Nampa after all.
It's a very, you know, I don't have any crazy like Biden supporters on the street, so everybody there was super chill about that.
So that's actually why I moved my business out of my neighborhood and into the commercial space was because I couldn't do what you're doing, because I had a homeowners association and I had a lot of neighbors that were against not only the traffic but what I was doing for business, so they wouldn't approve it. Because in order to get a business license, like you said, to do more than selling necklaces out of the kitchen, I had to go and get a letter signed by X percentage of the neighborhood to say that they were okay with me doing that. Well, my immediate neighbors and all the men in the neighborhood were great, but any Karens in the neighborhood wanted nothing to do with it.
That was my biggest fear, was like a Karen would come out of the network, because also I have a school like 1,000 feet away from my house, like Greenhurst Elementary, just right down the road from where I'm at.
Wow.
And they signed off on it too, though. The school was actually.
The school signed off on it.
They were like, just long as you don't, long as everything's secure, which we assume it has to be secure because, well, you're an FFL, so, long as it's secure, we're okay.
And like, could you guys make sure to keep your children out of my house?
I'm like, they're acting like I'm gonna be like that scene in Lord of War, like where he's like handing free sample, just handing guns to fucking kids walking down the road, free sample. But no,
like I'm not coming to do demonstration at recess.
Yeah, I'm the only one qualified.
I can't use the playground as a test range. I thought that was part of the agreement.
Baseball diamonds. That's what, 400 yards, right?
And I'm not I'm not test
400
firing
feet,
my home or anything either. So it's, everything's all secure. I built a hardened room.
That's the downside. So having a commercial space as a as considered a manufacturer, even though we're not a gun manufacturer, but I have the same stuff, you're legally allowed to have a range in your building. And you can fire within city limits.
Have a testing
for testing.
Yeah.
So
in that case,
that was a big benefit to why I applied for some of those extra lights that I didn't need.
But see, you didn't have to jump through a lot of those hoops that Cody is currently jumping through, right?
I had to get city approval.
Yeah.
And then I had to get approval from the owner of the building, which was not hard.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just the second half of the process where the ATF agent came out, looked at not even my gun safe. It was like a cabinet. He was like, "Does it have a lock?" Okay. And
they're really.
He was
really
like,
chillaxed
if you're on the railroad tracks, I might think about putting bars on those windows, but whatever you think's good. And I was like, is there any certain way I need to keep track of that? He's like, just write it down.
That's what kind of makes me nervous about how easy to go in there are. It's almost like, are you entrapping me about something that may happen?
It's
just letting me trip over myself.
Exactly.
Well, I think it's like what Cody was saying. It's like they don't want to give you a affirmative, so like this is exactly what you do, and then when you do that and something happens, they can't be like, whoa,
man, we're liable all of a sudden.
It's like, bump stocks are okay. As soon as somebody gets killed with one, we never said that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing with like the shoulder brace or the shoulder braces back and forth, on AR pistols or any other pistols. It's, well, you can do it. Well, you can't do it.
Well, don't be surprised in the next
don't shoulder it, but maybe don't always shoulder it. It's,
We can't really justify what shouldering is or intent.
Define shouldering.
Just be careful, like you said.
Yeah, like, again,
I feel like it's a very vague.
They're very vague.
Yeah.
Like, I know a bunch of other guys with home FFLs, and it was like, oh, do I have a safe? And I'm like, no. It's your responsibility to secure your guns. If they go missing, you just go to prison. That was exactly why. Like when I I left and I didn't have an FFL, and I was like, I talked to a couple people, and I go, it's really that easy. It's a couple $100. Why don't I have that? Yeah.
Like, I feel like I probably need it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I probably need it.
Sure.
It is like an open warrant to enter your home at any point in time.
They can come in and say hi.
Well, that's part of why I've heard people say they don't want to have it at their home, which I avoid that now because I have an actual location.
Yeah, you have a location.
And then when I heard that the SOT was a couple $grand a year, I was like, well, I could have machine guns and not have to wait to shoot my suppressors. Yeah, I'll pay that too.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's a write-off because it's business license.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's cool.
Well, and then if it's not in your house though, if it's at a place of business, can they still come into your house anytime?
Place of business. The ATF can come in anytime. The city can come in anytime.
It's where the FFL's
you have no.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you have, and that's firearms or anything. When it comes to business, your individual rights are gone. Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, I've heard a lot of people say they don't want a home FFL because it gives them the right
For
to
that
come
reason.
in and inspect and search.
Pretty much everything, and once the door's open, then
So
literally the door's open.
If Steve hadn't lost all of his guns in a boating
I
accident,
can't figure out where the hell they went.
could come in and do an audit.
Be the most expensive lake in eastern Idaho.
Well, the sad thing is all my books with the serial, I think they must have been with them. They're gone too, so I don't even know.
Yeah, they just cart you off.
They just
yell at that point.
If
that's the case, I'm going down with them too. I'm going to disappear in the
Just
lake.
wrap all those guns around your ankle and sink with them.
You see that lake? Steve just walked into it and never walked out. I don't know what happened. Yeah.
So have you seen his identical cousin? It's strange.
S Steve?
He even married Steve's wife. It was so
a weird thing.
That is a weird
Legally
thing.
changed his name back to Steve.
Like took on the kids.
The
took
kids
on
call
the
him
wife,
dad and stuff.
But
walked right into his job.
But I identify.
They should make a movie about
as
that.
new Steve.
Yeah, I identify as not Steve.
So what was like the most like surprising part so far? Because you're not totally out of the woods yet.
No, I'm not out of the woods yet. I'm still building the hardened shop room in my garage. So, there's a lot of permits involved in just putting up 2 walls and a door. My lord, there's a lot of that. Like
Because you have to build a separate space in your garage, basically,
Yeah, I
right?
did that mainly because the ATF is still. They have a right to search the whole house they want.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they also know if you have it all in one spot, the better. If they have, when they come to your place, you're like, this is where I have everything.
It's all
and
right
it's all
here.
there. They usually don't just start tearing your house apart. I mean,
Right.
they're not going to, unless there's like some criminal investigation. They're going to, cut your bed springs apart and all that crazy stuff.
Cody gave an M16 to a 5-year-old.
Yeah, all right. So they, I wanted to have it all in one location. Mm-hmm. Hardened room, have a safe in it, all that fun stuff. So it's all, the business is out there. Also kind of separates my home life from.
Yeah. You can walk away from
I
it.
can
and
walk
it's
away
not-
from it. I can close it off. So,
Yeah.
But I had to get that. Once I got the cup approved, which was fun because I had to have they came in and they nailed a giant, 5-foot sign in my front yard saying there was going to be a public notice hearing. They had a hearing and all this fun stuff. But then once that got approved, after 7 or 8 weeks of waiting on that, they're like, okay, but you have to have that all permitted. You can't just go in there, knock in 2 walls and a door and call it a day. You need to have it permitted under your cup. That was a condition of approving that license. You're just like, okay, cool. Thanks,
So you got to go back and do it all again, or
No, I just had to then draw up plans, submit an electrical plan, submit in the structural plan.
So everyone knows this is very typical stuff. Don't be
Yep.
scared.
Yeah, don't be scared.
it's not-
I
it's
was
not out of
hoping
the
this
realm.
would be streamlined in a lot easier method.
Sure.
But then again, I was
Well, and
being
some of
too
this-
kind to the government because it's the government.
Honestly,
Like,
some
come on, they're gonna
of
take
that stuff kind of depends on the city too.
100%.
Absolutely.
So-
100%. I have other friends that did this and it required no permits.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, some cities, like for example, the city I live in, it's anything over like $1,500. You got to get a permit,
And see, if
which
you
really
would've-
isn't not like
if you
that's
would have built
yeah,
that
but-
room before you even thought about applying
I've
for
been
all of this,
golden.
you could have been done and over, and then you just had to tear it down before you sold your house.
Exactly. But now that I've built it in there,
Just
I don't want to tear it down. So now it's permitted, and it's a permitted addition to my house.
Now
So
it's permitted, and it's either a benefit or a decrease in value.
yeah, we'll find out.
it's a safe room, so it's an increase.
Yeah.
Not
Storage.
to a woman. No.
Some guy's
She's like,
gonna
"How do
look
I
at that
park my
house and
other
he'll be
car
like,
in
"Honey,
there?"
that's gonna be my space," and then
You
they'll
could take
totally
the
buy
rest of the house. I'll
Like,
take it. Yeah.
Just
So
adver-
I don't think it'd be a downside.
If you ever
ultimately.
sell, it's a craft room for the lady.
yeah,
There you go.
What I'm
Hardened
hoping
craft
is
room.
that you put a big enough safe in there that it doesn't fit through the door. So when you do sell, you have to leave it behind, and that will be an increase in value.
oh maybe no. I put a 36-inch door in the thing, so hopefully I should be able to get a big safe through it.
Man,
You didn't put one in there yet? Oh, Cody. come
Yeah,
on.
see? See?
should have built around the safe.
I
But see,
told
you're
you.
Built
learning.
around
It
the
is
safe.
the safe.
But this is a whole learning experience, Now you know for next time.
Well, the best part,
And you might have got away with putting in the mini Connex box as a hardened room. And because that's going to be my next gun safe.
Yeah, dude, that's a good way of going about it. Yeah.
We're talking like 20, 30 feet long. What are you doing for a con?
Then you get a quad con. It's called.
I have a 40-footer in the parking lot, but I was thinking something a little bit smaller just for guns.
But
I
you,
don't have
you
the-
could turn that into a range, that 40-footer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
could.
too.
I've actually been looking at those self-contained.
The
rings
NSSF
to
did
put-
it.
I've been looking
Yeah.
at those to put in the parking lot, but it would be worth more than my building.
Yes.
Yeah, you would.
Just the range ventilation would cost more.
Yeah,
than
seriously.
Cost more than that. for
So, what are the last couple of things left you have to do before you can start really rolling?
As soon as I gotta get a final building inspection, the firewall inspection, stupid stuff like that. Like as soon as that's done, they'll be done with my space. I'll be legit with the city. I gotta build some benches in there afterwards, and then I'll be pretty much up and running for business. So hopefully in another 2 weeks.
Awesome. So we went through the construction, we went through the setup. So AK or AR?
Oh, he's an AK guy. Don't you know this?
Well, I like both.
I know you like both, but you're...
Where am I going with this said weapon?
I don't know.
Wherever you want.
Yeah.
It's America, damn it.
Yeah.
See, I know, but you have like there's reasons I would go with one over the other in certain situations.
Well, you should save that for the next episode because that's exactly what we're going to talk about.
Well, perfect. There you go.
Perfect. I'll
So
be here for that one.
let's we'll call it on this one, but I want to hear all of this red tape and everything. Is it worth it?
Yes, I'm my own boss. Like I pick my direction to go, and I set it every day.
Well, I
So,
think it's fantastic.
it's fantastic.
I agree. I think it's great.
It's extremely rewarding. It's also extremely stressful. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Welcome to the club.
Yes.
Welcome to
You
the
This
can't
is why men die young.
And you cannot afford to lose weight.
No, I can't.
No, I don't know where. Yeah. Do you
Doing
ever-
okay though.
Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for kind of walking us through all that kind of stuff. I just thought it'd be cool if, a lot of people in the gun world think, oh, I want to start my own business or have my own FFL. And, there are a lot of hoops to jump through, but if you really want to, you can do it. And
Double the time, double the money you think it's going to take.
I was going to say,
That way you have cushion.
If
Because
you
you may
could-
not spend it all, but you have some cushion.
if you could give yourself advice, like go back like 6 months when you just, started doing this, what would you tell yourself? That exact same thing?
Probably.
And that'd be that.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thanks. If you have any other questions for Cody, we can get them to him at podcast at iishooting.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Range Minded Podcast. And again, where can we find you on the internet, Cody?
You can find me on Instagram with redrighthand.idaho, or you can also find me on Facebook with Red Right Hand LLC.
It's
There you
okay,
go.
guys. He'll get that figured out soon.
Yeah.
Very
I will.
cool. Awesome, man. Well, thanks.
on it.
And we'll thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, peace out.
Thanks for listening to Range Minded. Find us online at Range Minded Podcast on Facebook, or send us an email at podcast@iishooting.com. We're always happy to get feedback, episode suggestions, whatever you want to send us, really. And be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and pretty much wherever else you get your podcasts from. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.